Welcome back to another edition. And I am really excited to have with me today Gayle Colman. Gayle has been on the podcast before, is a longtime friend and very brilliant and skilled woman in many areas. And behind her, you can see the body of money, which is, I don't know, I think it's the seminal work in combining somatic practice with money or finance. Would that describe it? And right behind her head is a big relax sign. There you go. For those of you that are on video, if the video comes out. So Gayle, it really piqued my interest. Gayle has a wonderful weekly blog. Is it weekly or?
Right now, due to my mishap, it's not weekly. It's probably right now monthly.
Because Gayle can't type.
I can't type. I have a broken wrist, but on my dominant hand, and my non-dominant hand is getting really great at doing lots of things. So they're like my puppets now. My left hand is like, look at how great I can do this, and my right hand is like vibrating. I want to do it. I want to do it. You know, it's really quite fascinating. Learning a lot, but that's not what this podcast is about. Another one.
Well, in one of her posts, and Gayle is a brilliant writer, she talked about last love letters. And it just really popped out to me that would be a great topic for this audience. So, Gayle, maybe tell us a little bit about last love letters.
Well, you probably know our friend, the late Dick Wagner, is the person who coined, last love letters. And he was talking about our estate documents. And he said that these really are the last love letters that we write to our loved ones. And so I took that in, just this golden nugget, and have really reflected on how we engage our estate planning and what we call as life legacy planning, because it has both, the practical side, which is very important, creating our estate documents that, I'm sure you're well versed, your audience, and you've done a lot of writing on it as well. But then there's the more human side, if you will, of life legacy planning, which is, what's the wisdom I want to share? What are the values I want to transmit? What's the impact I want to have? What are the stories I want to preserve? And what are the relationships I want to nurture? And where I have been exploring deeper and deeper is the last one, about relationships that I want to nurture, because they came from I'm going to say my own experience with wanting an actual love letter from my parents, and clients who have had similar experiences of disappointment and despair, even in their grief. And so so let me tell you about that. I mean, it's like when my father passed, I can remember the last words he was talking about were, he's like, gave me instructions to tell my brother that he needed to do something, for my mother. And it was like, he was living out how at the end of his life, he was living out exactly how he had been all of his life, which is, I'm worrying about everybody, and I'm going to give, these are the things that I worry about. And so he worried about my brother not, giving my mother enough attention and things like that. And so what all we want as a surviving family member, and let's just make this easy, parent child, all we want as a child is to know that we were loved and something special about us. I mean, it's like, I was proud of you because, or you always this. And so I really wanted to find something that he wrote special to me. And I assume maybe my siblings wanted that. I don't know, but it didn't happen. There were lots of papers around, but nothing special, no special love letter, no special note to me. And then when my mother died, I didn't expect something from her because she wasn't much of a writer like my father was. And I also made, kind of came to terms with what my parents were like. But it's like one of those markers of, wouldn't it have been nice? And, oh, isn't this interesting? And, one of our clients had a very interesting experience with when her mother died, and she was anxiously looking through all of the things that, for this, last note. She saw this envelope on the end table, and she got very excited and went and found it and, pulls it up, and it's a bill. It wasn't the last love letter, and was so disappointed. And I think, I don't know why, I don't know why this might be something that we want, but as human beings, maybe it's, things that we're still missing in our own development, and, wounded children, I don't know. But it's such an easy action for us to take for our loved ones and to nurture the relationship. And so it's just a gift of love to the people we leave. And it would be a real deep and profound expression of seeing them and giving them attention. It could be healing. It could be saying that thing that we've always wanted to hear. But I want to pause here and just kind of, take any questions, comments that you might have, to see if there's anything clarifying I can offer.
Yeah, it's what really stood out to me was the child wants to know I was loved and something special about me.
Yeah.
That just resonates. And you're taking me back to when do you remember Susan Turnbull?
Yes.
She worked with Money Quotient, Carol Anderson, and Amy for a period of time, or at least did a workshop. And I attended that workshop. And every other space at the table, there was a tissue box.
Yeah.
Which was a hint to what I was going to experience for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
And she called them ethical wills.
Yes.
And that's what's coming up for me, is it's an easy action to take. And I think it's incredibly difficult for many people because of the emotion or expressing that. It's like 68% of people don't have wills?
Right.
Which is a very, what do I want to say? Generic, but there's no love letter necessarily in it. They're very sterile.
Right.
And then to step down to this level, I think requires a unique set of actions.
I think it does. And my intention and hope is that it can be, I'm about to say easified. Is that even, that's not a word,
Yeah,
but
it's a word now.
Easified, because I love Susan Turnbull's work with ethical wills, and I've engaged those practices with myself and with clients. I prefer now just last love letter, because it doesn't feel so formal. It doesn't feel like ethical. It doesn't feel like so
totally.
And I've started, and what I've discovered for myself, because I have started writing some of these, is that there's some things that the process is healing. It's attending to things that would be, I almost want to hear. It's like, what would I want to hear? So that might be one of the activities that we do first before we even, write the love letters for the people we love. It's like, so the letter that I wished I had received, I can write for myself. So these are some of the practices that open up and clear the space for being able to write these. But one of the first things that I think is really important, and you may recognize my consistency in always wanting to know what's the motivation and the deeper why. Like, what really is moving you, me, anyone to do this, and for the recipient. What is that, and and the choice I'm making? Because that infuses the writing and the experience with that deeper why. And I'm going to say that love is truly probably the motivation, but it's really, every individual gets to go through that, and that really does fuel the experience. And so I talk about, like false starts and clearing, because I've had a few of those. I started to write these for Caitlin and Knight, my two children, and like it was some things that I needed to write that I'm going, I'm not giving these to them. This isn't the love letter. This is really great stuff and kind of goes through some things, but it's not it. And so I want to just give your listeners a little bit of a heads up that they may get to their motivation and their choice point, and they start to do it, and they're right, and all of a sudden they look at something they've written and they go, I don't know, this doesn't seem like it's it, and it probably isn't. And then you get to start again. And I'm going to suggest that when you really land on I'm going to say the authentic, true love letter, it's easy, it's simple. There may be tenderness and tears, but there's some really sweet, cherished quality to it, to the experience of writing it. And we want to trust that, and we want to let sufficiency and good enough be a part of it, because there might be, I don't want to say our inner critic, but there might be the worrier that's like, no, what, I don't know. That part of us that says, wait a minute, is it saying everything that it needs to say, and then there might, so trust and just good enough. Is this sufficient? And then let it sit. And as I've been engaging this practice myself, I've been asking, why wait? And there's no time like the present. And I don't know why that, I don't want to question why some of these things came up, but I really, if we're talking about relationship nurturing, what would it be like to read this letter or give this letter to our loved ones now? So I'm gonna pause here and check in with you.
Who's interviewing who? What landed with me is that the process is healing, and I can really get that. And what I loved was your false starts and clearing. Yeah. And my mind went, as you talked, went immediately into IFS mode, internal family systems.
Yep.
And what I saw, what I heard you explaining in that speak was parts starting to write the letter. All sorts of different parts. They could be protectors. They could some be exiles, but they were parts. And the looking at that going, well, a lot of good stuff, but this wasn't self-led.
Right.
And asking those parts to step back and really allow self-energy to come through, getting down to exactly what you described, it being easy and simple and sweet. And I can see parts struggling with it and wanting to get it right, and all sorts of dynamics, right?
Yeah.
And that just made perfect sense to me, at least to my IFS part.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And then the critic coming in and I don't know about this. So that was just just stunning to me in that parallel. It just makes perfect sense and is a great reminder, whether a person understands IFS or not, to really, get down to that sweet spot.
Yeah.
And then your question of why wait? Why wait? What would it look like to give it now? And I suspect that's something maybe that we can do another podcast in a while and find out.
I'll tell you what, what was coming up when I thought about that, I was like, why wait? There's no time like the present, was actually a conversation I'd had with my father. It was funny. He had said to me, well, if I have any advice for you in raising your children, it's brag on them. My kids at the time were, 6 and 9 or something like that. And he said, I didn't brag enough on you kids. And brag to him was, I didn't appreciate you and tell you how well you were doing and so forth and so on. And as he was talking, I said, well, Daddy, there's no time like the present. And he started to laugh. I'm like, bring it on. But so I imagine we all like to be, given appreciations or just, to receive the love from people that we love and love us. And as you were talking about the parts and this process, one of the things that I'm going to be offering to our clients, and if they have friends and family that want to join, that's fine too, but is our wisdom circles and to offer a safe container for writing these last love letters. And in it, begin with a somatic practice that allows us to settle our parts and for, our self, our authentic self to be present in writing these. And then this particular circle, I will offer a gateless. I'm trained as a gateless methodology in writing salons, and so we'll offer the opportunity to read these love letters, to be witnessed and responded to with gateless feedback, which is not. It's just about what is it that we love about the writing and what touched us, and really kind of appreciative quality to the writing, and what I imagine in that kind of experience is you would be able to notice what will it be like for my loved one to receive this. So it's almost like the experience that you could never have if, this is a letter at the, after you're gone, after you're out of your physical form body.
Yeah, that's quite a complete thought as far as experience of being able to have a safe setting, a safe container in which to write the letter, or at least begin writing the letter.
Yeah.
I think I stared at my paper for 2 hours, one session. And then to have that experience of reading the letter to those in the group. And I think by the use of the word gateless, I'm thinking that, I think you explained that it would be an appreciative, an environment free of advice, judgment,
questions. It's just
yeah, just open and sharing your experience to that letter, which would be really beautiful, really probably it would be very touching experience.
Well, I'll let you know how it goes. Because you know what, you create what you want, right? And that's what I want. I mean, I can write by myself, and I thought, you know what, I would really love to curate a circle of women that I love and do this in that kind of environment. That's what I want. So we'll see how it goes. But that's something that if somebody is called to do this for their loved ones, I think that it alleviates some of the pressure. It gives that safe container to do it in community.
Yeah, and I think it also gives a kind of an accountability to starting. Like, okay, I'm going to go to this group and we're writing last love letters.
Yeah.
My experience with clients, and I think this probably said more about me, was I don't think I ever had a client start. We talked about them, but that getting started, because of the false starts, because of the depth, I think doing it in community has far more chance of it being successful.
Yeah.
Everybody else is here to do the same, and others are struggling as much as I am, maybe in the beginning.
Yeah.
I can see this being maybe more than one. gathering.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'm gonna, this is one time I'm going to I'm gonna let love lead. How's that? I'm gonna
There you go.
let
Let love lead the last love letters.
yes, there you go. Alliterations. Oh God.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it that, okay, I got a good start in this group. Go back, work on it, come back. What were your struggles? Oh, blah, 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 blah. Oh, you the same. Oh, blah, blah, blah. And that being a process for that community
Yeah.
uh, to put those together. Now, says the guy who was in group therapy for 12 years weekly.
Well, you know what? I think that if we, you set the stage up for this is not about perfection. This is about good enough, sufficiency. This is about I'm so dropping into, this indestructible truth
Yeah,
that it's not going to be some dissertation. It will be, I'm imagining, several lines that just, get to the heart of it.
really
And
good point. 3
um,
sentences could be all that's needed.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um, I do believe that could happen, and that's what gets distilled from those false starts, those
Yeah.
clearing kinds of writing. So, but I think that this really does shape estate planning, shape the work of our practical documents in a way that um, it can soften the edge. I don't know, the edges of what those documents may look like, or if you think there's going to be sibling angst or whatever. It's like I don't know, but I think somehow this is all we ever really want to know, is that we were
Yeah.
okay, we were loved, we were seen. Um, yeah, yeah. Just saying that makes me tender.
Yeah. Yeah. Hearing it produced a tenderness in me. I just think that's ground zero, the bullseye of it all. And what a beautiful gift. Gayle, this has been, as usual, enlightening and exciting, and just love your presence and being. Um, tell our listeners where they can learn more about you.
Oh, you can learn more about me at, I guess, www.colmanknight.com or www.somaticfinance.com. And yeah, there should be something there. I guess I should be more equipped to share where I am.
But that's perfect. And the book is The Body of Money.
The Body of Money.
And that's available on Amazon, right?
Yes, it is. And
yes.
Thank you. It's always
thank you.
You, Rick, and thank you for inviting me on. I truly cherish our relationship over so many years and the territory we've traveled, and appreciate the work that you have brought into the world for the benefit of so many people. So
thank you.
Yeah. Well, you have wonderful rest of your day and week and year and whatever's coming up.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.